Hey guys, this is Heath. Some of you might know me as CGamer76 on Twitch as well. But I just want to do a brief video today, just to tell you a little bit about myself, who I am, a little bit about me, what it means to be paralyzed, things like that. Um, but the major question that I receive a lot of the times is, how did I get hurt? How was I paralyzed? Uh, Things like that. But been almost 26 years now. September 3rd, 1993 is when I got hurt. I was 16 years old. I had just started my senior year of high school, as a matter of fact. Had only been probably in my senior year, probably about 2 weeks, I guess. But I was swimming with some friends. Place I'd been swimming at, grew up swimming at all my life. Swam there, just about every day during the summer, there and other places as well. Um, Getting ready to leave that day, and we were playing a game called Gator. If you're not from around my area or from the South, you might not know what that is, but Gator is basically water tag. And the object is one person is the Gator, and their goal is to try and tag somebody so they become the Gator. And if you get out of the water, you only have a certain amount of time to get back in the water before you automatically become the Gator. So I was outside the water. I was trying to decide if I wanted to leave because I was going to a football game that night to meet Amanda, my wife. Uh, and I was trying to decide if I want to go ahead and jump in the water, do it one last time, or just go ahead and go. But around the area where we were swimming at, it was a little small creek. A lot of stumps, that we would dive off of, or trees that we would jump out of, things like that. And so I climbed up on the stump and was standing there, and it was like something said, don't jump, don't jump, don't jump. But I went ahead and jumped, and when I jumped too far to the left, and the water was a little bit more shallow there. And because where the water was so shallow at, I landed, and when I hit the bottom head first. And immediately, I've described it to people in the past, what it felt like. The best example I could give was, or even think of, was like being hit in top of the head with a baseball bat, or something like that. And then the sensation that followed was extremely wild. I mean, you've all had your foot fall asleep or a hand fall asleep, and that tingling feeling that happens, when your foot falls asleep or your hand falls asleep. Well, it was like that. That entire sensation started going down my entire body, just like it was just like it started from my neck and was just creeping down, creeping down. And I realized, I knew right away what had happened. I was floating in the water, couldn't move. I was shaking my head, trying hopefully to get somebody's attention. I couldn't move. I couldn't get myself out of the water. It just so happened one of the guys that I was there with, he realized something was wrong. That something wasn't quite right. So he grabbed me and dragged me onto the embankment, laid me down on the embankment, and he was scared. And the other guys that were there too, were scared as well. And one of them, ran ran out of the woods and across the street to a house. Called 911, and the rescue squad came down there. There was a young guy on the rescue squad that I had known all my life. He came down there, and another guy that I knew, and they were trying to load me up onto the gurney to get me, because we were in the woods, kind of far back, probably about 150 yards, away from the actual road. So the EMT had to, get a stretcher down there, get down there to get to me, to be able to get me out. And I was laying there, and one of the EMTs was asking me, what was going on, this, that, and the other. And I was like, one of my first responses was, I don't want to be paralyzed. Here I was, a 16-year-old teenager, been super active all my life. I'd hunted, I fished, I swam, I rode horses, rode four-wheelers. I mean, you name it, and I did all those things. And my first words out of my mouth was, I don't want to be paralyzed. And the EMT was like, well, it could be just a pinched nerve, it might be just something simple. But deep down, I mean, you know these kind of things. I guess, I don't know, I just knew. There's no other way to explain it beyond that. But they managed to get me on the gurney, and they got me out of the woods and stuff. And once they got me out of the woods, they got me into the ambulance, and local hospital, closest one was probably about 30 minutes away. So they transported me there and told one of the EMTs that was in the back of the ambulance, I was like, I can't breathe. I feel like I can't breathe at all. And so they put oxygen on me, and once I got to the hospital, the thing. As I said, I got thirsty, and I'd asked the nurse if I could have something to drink, and they gave me something to drink, and which made me sick because my body was in shock. But what I didn't know was that one of the reasons I couldn't breathe was my lung had collapsed because it had filled up with water from being in the water like I was, and I had inhaled a lungful of water. So here I was had a lung collapse. Didn't know really what the extent of the damage was. Just knew that at the moment I was paralyzed. And so it was a pretty rough situation going on right then. So they did an MRI on me and found out that it had damaged my C5 and C6 vertebrae. Well, what that means is, if you feel on the side of your neck, where the back of your neck kind of meets your shoulder, that's about the level where your C5 and C6 vertebrae are. It damaged my spinal cord in that area, which in turn left me paralyzed. Well, at the moment when I first got hurt, I was completely paralyzed. I could still kind of move my arms and hands and stuff like that. Couldn't move anything else. My arms, I could move them just a little bit. But from that situation, it went from bad to worse. If it could get any worse. But they stabilized me at this hospital, and they transferred me to another hospital. I'm not sure if it was later that day or that night. Because at that time it was pretty sketchy. Things going on. I never did really completely lose consciousness or anything like that. But they transferred me to this other hospital. Did some more extensive tests. Did X-rays, did MRIs, and things of that nature. And once they got, idea of what was going on, they knew I had damaged my spinal cord, like I said, the C5 and C6. And so I was at the hospital in intensive care. My lung was collapsed. They had to put me in traction, which basically what they do when they put you in traction is they screw these screws into the back of your head and attach weights to them. And those weights keep you stabilized and keep you from moving to cause any more further damage to my vertebrae. And I was in traction for I'm not sure exactly how long, but once they got me stabilized like that, they began to assess, what they could do. Here I am being in the hospital, teenager, man. I was a big kid. Don't get me wrong. I was, 5'11". I weighed 185 pounds. I was fairly athletic, as far as doing stuff. So, but I was still a kid, more or less. Even though I looked, like an adult. And one of the nurses came in there one day shortly thereafter, and I was like, will I ever be able to walk again? And she was just point blank blunt, like no, no, you're never gonna be able to walk again, And for a kid to hear something like that, I mean, that was devastating. I mean, in all reality. But that was just a few of the things that went on, just in the first part of getting hurt, and happening. And some other things that happened while I was in the hospital was I developed a stress ulcer in my stomach, and because my lung had collapsed, I had also developed pneumonia. Because having inhaled that water into my lung, it caused me to develop pneumonia, not being able to move around and things like that. But the way they found out that I had a stress ulcer in my stomach was they were doing chest X-rays to, see how my lungs were looking and things like that. And they found out that I had a hole in my stomach when I say a stress ulcer, it's just that the amount of stress that my body was under had caused it to develop an ulcer in my stomach. And which that ulcer, they didn't even know about it. And I couldn't feel it because, me being newly paralyzed, I couldn't feel anything. My body was still, really in shock from what had happened to it, what was going on. And it had eaten completely through my stomach, what the doctors told my parents. And the only thing that was keeping me from being poisoned by the acids from the inside of my stomach was it just so happened that my bladder had fallen over the hole in my stomach and kept me from essentially dying. So, as bad as the situation was, I was still blessed because it could have been so much worse. And I've known people who experienced similar accidents and things like that, and so much worse situation. So no whatever situation you face in life, just realize no matter how tough it may seem, how difficult a point in your life might be, it could always be so much worse. So that's why it's so important to never take anything in life for granted. Whether it's our loved ones, whether it's our family, whether it's anything like that, because you never know just how short and precious life is. Because in a blink of an eye, your life can change completely and entirely, and you can go from being a happy, healthy teenager like I was to being completely paralyzed. So life can be rough sometimes. Don't get me wrong. Being paralyzed has its moments. It's difficult at times. I won't go into all the detail today, but I just wanted to tell you a little bit about myself today, about me, and there'll be another part of this video. Don't worry. I'll go in and talk about some more of my experiences of being in the hospital, of what I went through, and and how I ended up where I am today, and my life, and some of the details on what I go through from day to day, just to do things normally like everybody else, But I hope you'll take the time to watch this entire video. I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you don't see it as a video that to get you down or to make you feel bad, but to realize that no matter what life throws at you or what comes at you in life, that you can come out being blessed on the other end of it. Whether whatever the situation may be, you can still be blessed on the other end of it. You can still have a good life. Just because it may seem difficult or hard, or things may not be going the way you think they ought to be going right now, feel blessed to know that it will end. At some point it will come to an end, and you'll come out on the other end of it. It'll make you stronger. It'll help you learn to appreciate the hard times that you had to go through to get to the good things in your life. Oftentimes, when we face difficult situations, uh, we're so quick to say, "Oh my God, things are going so bad, and I don't know what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna make it." But you never realize the strength that you have within yourself until you come to that point in your life. My point, you know, it took me. I was paralyzed, but I still came out of it stronger and better. I think it made me a better person. Um, in the long run, that it made me a better person, and it made me learn to appreciate simpler things in life a lot more, and appreciate so much more in life. Cause, like I said, you never know what might happen in your life, how your life can change. What you face, and and in all reality, I don't consider uh, my life to be hard. Don't get me wrong. It would be so much easier if I could walk, if I could use my hands, if I could use my fingers, or things like that. But it helped me to realize that life is precious, and you can't take anything for granted in life. But this is going to end the video for today. If you notice, I've got a game running in the background that I've been playing while I've done this video. If you'd like to come out and hang out with me on Twitch TV, I do stream during the week on Twitch on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays most of the time. If you want to ask me some questions about what it means to be paralyzed, about my life, you're more than welcome to leave a comment below. And I'll try my best to answer, some of them. Tell you a little bit more about myself, and hopefully give you an idea of what my life's like. Not just my life, but a lot of individuals out there who are paralyzed or in similar situations, things of that nature. But if you wanna subscribe to my channel, I'd be glad to have you. And if you throw a like on the video, I would appreciate it to let me know that you enjoyed it. Like I said, if you want to come hang out with me on Twitch TV, you're more than welcome to come out. My channel over there is Twitch TV /CGamer76. We play some games over there like Clash of Clans and things like that. And I talk to my chat, and we have a good time. But this is going to end this video for now. There's going to be some other parts to it, telling you a little bit more about myself. But like I said, if you want to leave a question or a comment down below, I would gladly try to answer them as much as I can, as long as they're not too personal, things like that. But just to give you an idea about myself. Appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and I hope to see you in the future. But until then, hope you have a good day, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you.